Sweet. Alright, gamers. I'm just making sure my stream is working. Let me know if there's any, like, wonky things with, like, the settings or the sound. Or if I'm not loud enough, or if I'm too loud. But yeah. Welcome to the anime discussion stream. So, like, I guess, like, so Juan, my boyfriend and editor, hasn't read My Hero Academia. He kind of just, like, watches the show. And so he didn't want, like, anything spoiled for him. Early stream. Yeah, right? Like, finally. I usually stream at, like, 12 at night. But yeah, because, like, I wanted to talk about, like, My Hero Academia, the most, like, recent chapter, and presumably the chapter that, like, ends the story. But Juan doesn't read the manga, so I was like, well, I can't spoil it for him, so I couldn't, like, talk to him about it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have this stream so I can talk about it. So, like, Juan, if you're watching the stream, maybe skip, like, the first 30 minutes of it or something, because I'm just gonna be talking about My Hero Academia. So, like, what type of dick is... Okay, this is actually kind of cool. Hello, Affable Sweetness. So Juan got me one of those, like, you know, like, weird, like, half, like, hoodie type things where it's, like, just the top sleeves. Because I saw this on, like, Amazon, I was like, gosh, that'd be so cool. I'd look like a dystopian parkour character, like, from Mirror's Edge or something. But I thought it'd be kind of cringy, and also I'm, like, low on funds, so I was like, I'm not gonna get it. And last night I was, like, hanging out with Juan, and he's like, did you get your package? I was like, what package? He's like, I sent a package to you, and open it. And then he got me this, like, thing. Because he's so sweet, and I love him. So yeah, that's how I got my gamer half hoodie thing. That was pretty cool, right? But yeah. Okay, so My Hero Academia, the ending. That looks so cool though, thanks. I actually kind of like the ending. Like, here's the thing. Like, I think a lot of people read it, and they're like, what? Like, Deku became, like, a teacher, and he doesn't have, like, his, like, powers now, and everything, but somehow he's, like, the greatest hero. But I think kind of, like, the point of the story, which is why I think it's, like, a good ending, in my opinion, is that Deku kind of wanted to be, like, All Might growing up, and ultimately kind of ended up being, like, All Might. Because the main thing that separated All Might from, like, the rest of the heroes in their era was that All Might had, like, the core values of being, like, selfless and caring and wanting to save everyone. Now, he couldn't really achieve that, and because of that, like, kind of the secondary point of the story is that the characters ultimately had to create a society where every hero was like that instead of just being a hero for, like, money or fame, and causing issues where you have people like Shigaraki who just, like, were kind of turned a blind eye by heroes. And I think he achieved that. But also, I think ultimately he himself is, like, participating in that because he's now educating, like, the next generation of heroes. And he's a true hero because he's selfless, because he's persevering, because he wants to help people, but he also helped or tried to help and wanted to help the people who a lot of people in society didn't want to help or didn't really try to help. Which I think is kind of like what the story circled around, like, is the definition of, like, a hero. and kind of also rings true to like real life of the kind of people who are like good people or you should strive to be like. But yeah, let's see what's in the sandwich. Ham and cheese. MHA begins with him quirkless and ends quirkless. Very nice. No, right, like it's kind of poetic. Where Weeb says, hi, welcome to the stream. I haven't watched MHA, so I'm gonna pretend your opinion is correct. I see your no shelf. Yeah, I put it together. I got most of my anime figurines. Some of them I might sell or just buy a small shelf for that I can put in the corner. I also, yeah, the figurines I don't have up. What are they? I think it's like Shinji, and then my Gilgamesh from Grand Order figurine. And then I have an Anna figurine from Fate Grand Order. So Anna is like the younger version of Medusa. I just remember like watching Fate Grand Order Babylonia when I was like in high school. And I was like, Anna is like literally me when I was like little. Like I feel like just her mannerisms, everything I related to a lot. And so she's probably my favorite character in Grand Order. Well, besides MASH and Bedivere in Camelot. But yeah. Anyways, I just think that it's like, I think people for MHA, I guess they kind of want some sort of like big grand thing where it's like in Deku becomes the number one and the best hero and everything. Which I think that could have worked in its own way. But I think kind of the point of MHA is that what makes true heroes is like people who are, I guess, just not the like flashiest and willing to like sacrifice things to help people. Because even characters like, you have like Togeda, and he like lost his abilities in like season 4 to save Eri. And so yeah, let's see. I'm gonna watch the season 7 MHA only once done. Yeah, same. I'm kind of like that too. Like, I just like for shows to be finished before I watch them, because I know when I start watching them, I'm like, I'm gonna watch like 9 episodes. But yeah. So yeah, that's just my opinions on MHA. But I'd love to hear people's opinions on why they didn't like the ending to MHA, or maybe why they thought it was like, I don't know, how it could have been better, I guess. This is a good sandwich, by the way. Just so I put that out there. I think, like, yeah. Sometimes it's kind of, I guess it's kind of hard sometimes for, let's see, rules of anime community. Don't talk about Bokuto. MHA is mid. I haven't watched it. Okay, maybe I just don't understand what, like, the term of, like, mid is. Because, like, yeah, I feel like some people say, like, MHA is mid or Attack on Titan is mid, and, like, Attack on Titan and, like, MHA and, like, Jujutsu Kaisen, they're all, like, super good stories. Like, I can understand if they're not your taste, but I think mid for me, I mean, as the term probably implies, is just, like, a really mediocre show with, like, mediocre writing. Let's see. I kind of wanted Bakugo to stay dead, but that's just me. I will say, like, maybe, I don't even think it's super important for, like, certain characters to die sometimes unless their death serves a purpose. I do think some sometimes, however, like, I mean, Sir Night-Eye was a pretty essential death to the story, but I think, like, when Midnight died, I was kind of like, but Midnight didn't have, like, a whole lot of screen time or story time as, like, I don't know, like, there wasn't a whole lot about her explored, so I felt like, I'm not sure why she died and how that affected the story, but maybe that's just my opinion. I watched 2 episodes in season 7, but stopped away on the translation. Yeah, I do that too. I haven't watched MHA in a while, and stopped in late season 2. I feel like I should finish it, but at the same time I have so many other things to watch. Yeah, that's me as well. I like Bokugo. Definitely mediocre anime fans have awful taste on isekai. Okay, so there's like kind of an example, like, not to trash on anyone's like anime taste, but I think there's some isekai that's like really good, and some of it's like mediocre or just like really bad in my opinion. I think there's some isekai I don't like, but for different reasons than like a story. Because I think you gotta make a story that makes sense. Now, someone might not like that story, but there's gotta be like elements to it that make sense. I think mid or mediocre is kind of when it falls like short of that a bit. So like I watched 86 recently with Juan. It was like okay. I've never really felt this way about any other anime, but I feel like it really could have benefited for maybe just being like a little more violent, I guess. But here's why. Like, because I'm not one of those people who's like, a story's only good if there's like tons of gore and like death. Like, I still liked Tokyo Ghoul, even though it was kind of, yeah, pretty inaccurate to the manga, but, and much less violent. But I think that, it just, like, the thing about 86 is they set this premise up where it's like, Ryuko says hi, welcome to the stream. Like, it sets this thing up where the world building is, like, pretty dark. Like, there's this, like, upper class society where they think they're, like, it's essentially just kind of, like, World War II themes a lot in the story. The upper class sends, like, people who don't, like, look like them or aren't in their same class to, like, fight their war for them. In the first half of the series, almost everyone dies. But the thing is, like, you don't see a lot of them dying, and you don't really get a whole lot of, like, personal time with some of the characters. And I just think, like, well, supposedly, I think the manga is actually a little more violent. But I just think when you have dark world building, to completely, like, sell dark world building, you don't have to make it, like, the most extreme, like, shock value thing ever. But you gotta commit a little bit to, like, how intense you're trying to make it. Because if you're trying to say it's sad, it's dark, like, everyone dies, but then you only show, like, 2 character deaths and the rest of them just kind of die off screen, and, like, it's not really personal with some of the deaths, I feel like it's a little, but yeah. The Saga of Tanya the Evil was pretty good in my opinion. Did you watch or read the Danganronpa saga? I actually have never played or read or watched Danganronpa. Are you into any old school animes? Like 90s or 80s? I mean, let's see. I'm trying to think about the oldest anime I've watched. I'm trying to think about the oldest one I've watched that I've, like, thoroughly enjoyed, because, Okay, they're good stories, for sure. I think that nihilism is usually like a super present theme in a lot of like really old like 80s and 90s anime, which isn't always my thing. Like, I don't know if this counts as like old school, but I mean, I thought Code Geass was pretty good. I like Code Geass. That's more like early 2000s old school, but yeah. I watched like Black Lagoon. I think I liked the characters more than I liked the show sometimes. But it had some pretty interesting arcs and characters. Like Balalaika is kind of a cool character. Most isekai is a power fantasy. So most of the characters are kind of flat. Yeah, I think the only isekai I've liked is like... I haven't seen the rest of Rising of the Shield Hero, but I really liked season 1. I liked ReZero. I always get a lot of crap for this. I like Sword Art Online because I honestly think, like, I liked the Gun-Gale arc, and I think it got, like, infinitely better in seasons 3 and 4. Because I just think there were so many more interesting characters. And there was even a little more development for Kirito. But yeah. Like, okay, that's an example. Like, I don't think Sword Art Online is mid, necessarily. I think it's just not a story that... Because if it was, like, mid, it'd be, like, super boring. Now, one arc in it that was kind of mid was when they were getting, like, the sword and essentially just playing video games at that point. Like, there was no stakes. But I don't think it has enough of an engaging plot where, like, is it, like, lacking in some things? Like, yeah, some people don't like the main character. But I think it just... If it was truly bad, I think it would just have a super uninteresting plot and, like, none of the characters would be memorable, basically. But the characters are. But yeah. Dark Age had a point. One Piece technically could be the oldest anime. The oldest? Do you mean like a original or like an older generation anime? I don't think One Piece was like the first anime, but maybe I'm wrong about that. I love Saga of Tanya the Evil. If you want a mediocre harem anime with a completely whiny and toxic fan base, then High School DxD. I'm never going to watch that show. Oh my gosh. The oldest anime I watched was a black and white silent short from 1914. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. That is interesting, like... Sometimes I wonder a little bit. Well, I think it's more because Japan's honed their, like, 2D anime skills. But I wonder if, like, that was more prominent in Japan first, or America first, or maybe some other country I'm just completely oblivious to. Fun fact, we will never see No Game, No Life Season 2. That's what I hear, and that's why I'm hesitant to watch it, but I hear it's good or interesting, so yeah. I watched Konosuba and I love it. Okay, Konosuba, the thing about it is, like, it's entertaining because, you know, it's marketing itself as, like, it's like a comedy isekai. And the comedy of the isekai is it makes fun of all the isekai tropes. So, like, instead of a main character where he's, like, there's nothing super distinct about him and he's just, like, good for no particular, like, visible reason. Kazuma's, like, sucks. Like, he's immature, he's, like, petty, he's whiny, he's kind of selfish a lot of the time, and because of that, rightfully, none of his party members, or, like, any of the girls he likes, like him. Or, like, they get into awkward, like, situations sometimes, where maybe there's, like, a little bit of, like, flirting, but they ultimately don't really like him like that. because they don't think he's a great person. And then sort of the other comedy of it is like, you know, you do have the main women sort of being like kind of play-ons of like the type of women you would see in like harem isekais. But instead, I personally think they're like interesting and funny characters because they're all just really weird and hilarious. So he has like, upon first meeting them, he has like this like envisionment in his head of like, oh, this is like the noble and loyal and like strong girl. This is like the sweet goddess girl who's gonna help me. This girl is like the like best girl, like Megamine, like mage girl. And then those expectations and illusions are slowly like proven wrong because he finds out like a bunch of weird stuff about them, and I just think it's pretty funny. But yeah, Konosuba is definitely not like, that's not the anime I would just recommend to people, but it's hilarious. Konosuba is my favorite anime. Have you ever watched That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime? I haven't, but I'm considering it. If you unironically like SAO, go watch Slayer S, not Demon Slayer, Slayer S, starring Lena Inverse? I'll check it out. What makes anime anime? That's actually really interesting, because some people say the fact that it's like made in Japan, or made in Asia now, I think is mostly the term. But I think, I don't know. Like, for example, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the intention was to give it an anime style and make it like an American anime. So I'm kind of one of those people who's like, yeah, it's like an anime, but it's an American anime. Same with like Castlevania. Same with like Ruby. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Have you seen any Korean anime before? Maybe. List some, and I'll get back to you on that. High School DxD is literally the worst thing I have watched, and it's because the main character was so unbearably jarring to watch. If it's from Japan and is animated, it's anime. So just Japan, not even like other like places in Asia, or huh? Let's see. Here's a spicy one. Have you seen... No, I have not seen that one. This sounds like a made-up isekai. Oh my gosh. Absolutely, Issei is literally the worst character I've seen in anything. Oh my gosh. I've seen an American anime, it's called Kappa... Mikey? I don't know what that is. Let me look it up. Yeah, I don't know actually how many like American animes there are. I don't think I've ever seen this. That's interesting. Let's see. But yeah, like, I mean, Ruby was like the first American, like, well, it was technically like the first anime, but you know, it's an American anime, so some people don't count it. That I think I watched back in middle school. I think I really liked seasons 1 through 3, even like 4 a little bit. But yeah, I eventually just kind of like lost interest. But I remember like Pyrrha was like, I think my favorite character. Crow was probably like my second favorite character. I think Jean was pretty cool too. My favorite anime is Serial Experiments Lane. That's another one that I have to see. There was an American anime called Pacific Rim The Black, I think. It's American. I actually have heard of that one, but I haven't seen it. I like Pacific Rim the movie, but have you watched Magic Knight Ray Earth? In celebration of its 30th anniversary, it's getting a remake, and I'm incredibly excited because it's one of my most favorite shows of all time. I haven't heard of it, but that sounds cool. Is it like... Let's see. Dragon Ball Z is a certified classic even after Akira Toriyama's passing. Rest in peace. Okay. That's like a classic anime that I like. I watched Dragon Ball Z Kai with one. I really liked it. And I had never watched Dragon Ball Z before that. And I think when I watched it, I kind of understand why people like it, because nearly every episode is like fighting. But I think it does that successfully in a way where there's still like an interesting story, and like you never really watch Dragon Ball and get like bored per se. I think it's a good show, yeah. Magic Knight Ray Earth is underrated fun, in my opinion. It's fantasy. It gives me the Princess Bride vibes. Oh, okay, that sounds interesting. I think my favorite, like, fantasy anime... Well, let's see. I like Fate a lot. But Fate's kind of interesting. I think Fate is technically, like, a seinen. I like Madoka Magica. Madoka Magica is very good. I need to still watch the movies, and apparently a new movie is coming out. So yeah. Juan says in Madoka Magica, he always does this whenever we watch shows, like he'll say like, this character is literally you. He says I remind him of Akemi because she's like kind of quiet, and like before her like all the like horrible time traveling stuff, she was kind of like shy and like introverted. She also had glasses, which is like Juan's criteria. And he said she's like kind of like serious a little bit and like kind of like a little like edgy, but she's also like a gooby wooby, which is just like a term we use when it's like you have a character who's kind of like usually like small and just like a little bit silly, or just kind of like has like this weird like gooby wooby type of like aura that we just can't explain what it is. Amar says, hi, welcome to the stream. Let's see, thank you. Magic Ray Earth is extremely underrated and so good, especially the music. I love anime soundtracks. I'm currently trying to learn how to sing Dark Aria from Solo Leveling and Voices of the Court from 86, because Hiroyuki Sawano just always writes good soundtracks. And then I just like Yuki Kajiura music a lot. Let's see. The goat Amar is back. Gooby Wooby, yeah. No, that's a thing. Well, hi, Affable. They're both present again, the chat, the dynamic duo. Water gargling stream. Also, how has your day been? My day has been good. Sorry, I'm gonna grab some like gum while I'm talking. Yeah, my day's been good. I have work today, later today. My voice has been slowly healing, but yeah. Noelle, we actually became friends on Discord because of your streams, lol. Oh my gosh, that is so great. That makes me so happy to know you formed, like, a friendship over my, like, silly anime meme content. See, Mom and Dad, magic does happen through my voice acting. That's so great. I love that, though. But yeah. I think, like, what gum? I got 5 gum right now. I miss those memes where it's like how it feels to chew 5 gum. You just have someone, like, running into a door, or, like, just, like, crashing like a car or something, or like hitting their head. I thought that was funny. This is just like extra. But yeah. Yeah, I think I mostly just watch like a lot of sorry, got hungry, gotta get some lunch. Okay. Have fun. Yeah. I think I just watch like a lot of maybe newer gen anime a lot of the time. I love that meme. Yeah. Like, well, yeah, the first anime I ever watched that was like from Japan was Violet Evergarden. Which was pretty good. And then like I watched Attack on Titan, and then I watched Snow White with the red hair and Cells at Work, and then so on. Where'd those memes go? It's all brain rot now. I know. I'm trying. Some of the memes now, usually Juana's just like found them. A lot of the ones now, like, I'm just trying to write memes to continue to provide entertainment for all of you. Times change, man. Times change. My first anime was Pandora Hearts. I've kind of been thinking about seeing that one, solely because Yuki Kajiura wrote the soundtrack for it, and I love her music. Magic Knight Rayearth is also a shoujo, basically Sailor Moon but as fantasy. Oh, that's cool. Man, I would love to write, like, just like a solid, like, shoujo. Well, okay, so currently, I don't really know if this is gonna turn into anything. I mean, I like drawing my characters a lot. I have been writing this, like, story on my free time. This, like, book series, if you will. It's like science fiction. The main character is a girl. That's not a very good description of the story, but yeah. I love the part where he literally goes to... I knew, this sounds like a crazy anime, and lives. Okay, that reminds me, I watched 7 Deadly Sins. I watched a lot of it, and you meet, like, Hawk's brother, what was his name, like, Wild, who's, like, in purgatory, and Juan didn't keep watching it, so I just explained that Hawk has a brother named Wild, who's just, like, living in purgatory, and Juan was like, what? I was like, no, yeah, I'm not making this up. My first was either Pokemon or Beyblade. I mean, I guess if we're counting Pokemon, yeah, Pokemon's technically my first. Everyone's watched at least like 1 or 2 episodes of Pokemon when they're little. Many old kid animes used to air in my country, like Ultra B, Monster Kid, and Lucky Man. Huh. Dude, 9-year-old me. I love sci-fi books. No, same. I love, like, just a solid, like, sci-fi story. I think my only issue is it's usually really hard to find ones with, like, good main characters sometimes. Like, when I was little, I read, like, Maximum Ride. Great book. It's just, like, it keeps your attention. The premise is interesting. I just think, like, James Patterson sometimes writes, like, a lot of characters. Like, he writes how, like, people think, like, teenagers are. Or, like, younger teenagers. Like, I don't know, like, you just have, like, some of the, like, younger male teenagers or something, and they're like, I sure do pizza and video games. And then, like, Fang is just like, oh, geez, like, I don't talk to anyone, and but I really like the main character, and there's no particular reason why I feel like they would work well together, but that's just my opinion. My first anime was Speed Racer. I watched it every time I went to sleep over at my cousin's house. That's so great. I haven't watched even one episode of Pokemon. Dude, how? I love horrors that take place in space. Like Alien? Wait, does Alien take place in space? I don't think I've seen any of the Alien movies. I just assume it takes place in space. I'm interested in this book called Project Hail Marie? Okay. That sounds interesting. Yeah. I just like, I really like good science fiction. I just wish sometimes, primarily in things like teen fiction, just a lot of the ones I grew up with, I wish some people would just write more interesting main characters sometimes. But that's just my opinion. But yeah. I'm trying to think of what's like a sci-fi anime that I like. You don't usually associate like anime with sci-fi sometimes. Ooh. I mean, this is a game, but Nier Automata. Vivi Fluorite Eyes song. It's like super good. But yeah. I like being stranded on a spaceship or a foreign planet. Affable sweetness is speaking from experience. Psychopaths? I haven't seen Psychopaths yet. I'm sorry. I have so many that I need to watch. Oh my gosh. Cowboy Bebop. Okay. Oh yeah. I have seen Cowboy Bebop. That is a science fiction too. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think that, again, a little similar to Black Lagoon. I think I liked the characters a little bit more than I liked the story. But that's just my opinion. But yeah. Darkfire says, hi. Hi, welcome to the anime discussion stream. Happy to have you. Feel free to, like, say any anime opinions. Cyberpunk Edge Runners. That's true. They, it's kind of based off of a game that came out first a little bit. Kind of like Nier Automata. And how Nier Automata got an anime, after the game. But yeah. Cyberpunk Edge Runners was, it was pretty good. I think, like, it was interesting because I had just never seen Studio Trigger. I think now that I've seen that and Delicious in Dungeon, Studio Trigger is actually like, they have so much range with like what they're able to achieve with their art style. Because I watched like Kill la Kill first, and like kind of super different, but yeah. Darkfire, okay. Azumanga, I don't know how to pronounce this, Dio is my favorite comedy anime. Ryoka Matoi asks favorite anime soundtrack. I mean, I really like anything by Yuki Kajiura and Hiroyuki Sawano. My favorite soundtrack by Yuki Kajiura. Ooh. It's hard because she's written so many good ones. Okay. I'm gonna say the best one she ever wrote. But it's hard because she keeps writing more and more songs for it. But it's honestly probably Sword Art Online. Because since Sword Art Online is like fantasy, but has the theme of like technology and gaming, she's able to do some like technological kind of audio mixing. She uses like electric guitar with instrumental music, and that's just something that's like really cool in my opinion. Yeah. I think like my favorite songs from the Sword Art Online soundtrack is, well, let's see. I like Sinon's theme, which is what's it called? It's like she must overcome her fear or something. Asuna's theme, Luminous Sword, is pretty cool. Oh, okay. One of the more recent ones she kind of wrote was for the SAO, the second SAO Progressive movie. And it was like Fuscus the Vacant Colossus. That, if you have not heard that song, it's like an 8-minute composition, but it is so good. Like, it is, oh my, because she just leans so hard into like the like gaming kind of theme of it, but she just makes it like really epic and kind of medieval. Like, it's very like boss fight music, and I love it. I also really like just like the soundtrack she wrote for Berserker versus Alter Saber in Heaven's Feel 2 of the Fate series. I like I think it's called If You Leave from Fate Zero. That's a good one. Yeah. What's the best isekai? As of now, I might change my opinion on it later, depending what they do with it. But probably Re:Zero, honestly. Re:Zero is pretty good. I think it was made by the same studio that made Akame ga Kill, which kind of makes sense. I've made a series of fantasy stories, but the twist revealed in the sixth one is that the world used to be advanced and modern, but was destroyed by the series' main villain. That's always like a cool twist. Little bit of like a Planet of the Apes twist there, kind of. The jazzy soundtracks are so good in Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, that's true. I'm fine. Alright. I really need to pace my talking. I'm good. 6 is sci-fi, and my brother says it feels so tonally different from the previous ones, and doesn't like it because he got attached to the former installments. Huh. Yeah, ReZero. Yeah, ReZero is good. I need to watch that. It's worth it. It's, I think I like the main character. I'm chewing on gum. I was eating a sandwich like 5 minutes ago, but yeah, now we're chewing on gum. Yeah, I think ReZero has a good main character. The writing is good. It just kind of keeps you like, I think the thing it does really well is they want you to feel with and for Subaru when you watch ReZero. So you're trying to kind of feel like Subaru at the point when he has that big conversation with Rim, where he just feels like he's completely helpless, and no matter what he does, he's not going to be able to change the outcome of certain events. I think that it does a super good job of making you as the audience feel like that too. Because, man, by the time you get to that episode, you feel like just as like heartbroken and like worn down as Subaru. I think it's a great show. What do you think of Chainsaw Man? I think it's good. Again, not really a story for everyone, but it's kind of like, I think the theme of the story being that Denji is just kind of like susceptible to really just being taken advantage of and manipulated, because he's like a young teenage boy who really went from like having nothing in life to like being able to just have somewhere to like sleep and eat, and just like being surrounded by like women he likes. It's like kind of sad and heartbreaking to see, because I actually think that a lot of dudes kind of identify a little bit with that feeling of just kind of like initially not really being as like, what would be the word? Discerning about some of like the women they like. But hopefully like Denji over the course of the story kind of grows into being more discerning about that. But yeah, I think it's well written. It's definitely a little sad watching that though. But yeah. I want a Dark Souls anime, my life is complete. I actually think an Elden Ring anime is in the making. I could be wrong, but I was like on Twitter, and this one dude announced he was like the casting director for an upcoming Elden Ring anime, apparently. So yeah. Let's see. The theme for me is finding meaning in a meaningless world. Yeah, I think that's the thing, because again, the theme is kind of nihilism. I think nihilism isn't my favorite theme. I think Chainsaw Man does it a little bit well, because there's a little bit of like humor to it sometimes. But I also think, again, it's kind of just a very relatable story for a lot of people. Which is sad, but yeah. What's your favorite anime? Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. That's my favorite. Juan, my love, says, I'm pretty sure that Elden Ring anime is a fan-made thing. Oh, I see. You should voice someone for Chainsaw Man Season 2. Juan thinks... I'm trying to remember this character's name. Is it Asa? Juan thinks I should voice her. Because he says how I described how I was in high school, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing. Probably not. But he says I remind him a little bit of, like, her when I was in high school. Which is funny, because Juan also reminds me of, like, Denji a little bit. But yeah. Let's see. But luckily Juan has me, and I don't manipulate him. I try my best not to. I hope I don't manipulate him. Sometimes I feel, like, bad because, like, Juan's just so sweet and caring, and sometimes, like, do I, like, ask too much of him? But then sometimes Juan's like, well, you didn't, this is just something I did for you. You didn't even, like, ask me to do that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Has anyone here seen Glassworker? It's worth watching. I don't think I have. I read up to volume 9. It's my favorite manga ever. The Riz Devil. No, based on, like, the Chainsaw Man world building, there's, like, a lot of weird, like, devils that could potentially exist. Whew. I'll change the music. Let's do this one. I'm gonna turn it down a bit though. But yeah, I think Chainsaw Man is pretty good. But I'd say of the current Mappa projects that have been made, I really like Jujutsu Kaisen. The Devil, right? Man, I would not do well if, like, the Spider Devil rolled up. I literally hate spiders. What's, like, another one that could exist? You'd think that, like... Or wait, maybe it is a thing, but it just hasn't been introduced yet. Or I'm just forgetting. You'd think, like, the Death Devil would be a thing. Say that One Piece is real to prove your authenticity as a voice actor.
The One Piece is real! Guys, what if the One Piece was the friends we made along the way?
I know I've been glazing it a lot, but I really think Magic Knight Rayearth is worth watching. I'll try to watch it. Noelle, you literally saw the Spider Devil. Oh yeah, that, like, big spider in California. I hate spiders. You'll never beat me, Denji. I'm the Plunger Devil. What the frick? Luffy would lose his... I'm okay. I should probably talk We now only need 2 though. Let's see if I can blow a bubble. No. Give me a second. I love spiders. I find some tarantulas sneak into my trailer sometimes. I can see how people think tarantulas are cute, but I still am not a spider person. Not that. She was... What, that was helping fight the zombies? Hold on, you'll have to explain. You keep laughing at everything. That's just how I am, man. I'll laugh at my own jokes, too. Like, I'll be like when people ask me, like, what time is it? One of those people is like, time to get a watch. I'm sure it's annoying to some people, but that's just how I am. What's your favorite manga? Well, Juan's having me read Berserk with him. That's pretty good. And much better than any anime adaptation that's ever been made so far. I think, the Nothing Devil. I mean, if the Infinity Devil exists, that's probably... The Spider Devil was killing zombies in a sea. Oh, that's right! I guess it didn't compute with me because, yeah, it's like... It doesn't look super like a spider, but it has, like, the multiple appendages. Yeah, I remember now. Can blow a big bubble. Did Juan just text me? I'm gonna check this text. Let's see. How many anime have you seen? I have seen, well, let's see. I've seen, a lot by now. Mostly, like, yeah. Just a lot of shonen. But I've seen a lot. I actually have, like, an anime list that I mark off. Let's see. Infinity Devil. I need to go Barnes & Noble to buy more volumes. Me, when I see the Infinity. Ah! Okay, let's see what Juan sent me. Yeah, he sent me an image clarifying, like, hey, this was already existing character. But yeah. Apparently, I haven't really read, like, a lot of Junji Ito manga, but apparently one of his stories is getting turned into an anime. I think Christina V already got cast. That's the rumor. The fantasy series I made is called Infinity Blade. So my brother and I go crazy and joke that everything that involves infinity is a reference to my work. I love that. Like, more than 100? Yeah. More than 100. That's a lot. But yeah, I need to read more manga, honestly. Breath says, I like woman. Cool. But yeah. Would you voice Quan? I think you pronounce X's as Z in Chainsaw Man. I'm trying to remember who this character is. Chainsaw Man. Oh! I mean, if they, like, cast me, if I can find an agent by the time Chainsaw Man continues, I just got a tornado watch. Bro, be safe. Get to the basement. Dang. Auditech says, hi, Elion. Hi. Welcome to the stream. Tornado devil coming for you. Bro, that's a wild joke to make. Oh, crap. Okay, it's pronounced like she. I was wrong. That's how good of a linguist I am. I was locked out of my house and just got back in. Can you say something nice to cheer me up, please?
You got this! I believe in you.
There you go. At least, I think. I mean, you're probably right. I'm not very good at pronouncing other languages. When I, like, first learned singing, officially, I was taught a little bit on how to pronounce, like, Italian words, but I'm still not super good at it. I sang, it was, like, "Se tu, Mommy." It's, like, this opera song. I don't know if you guys know what song I'm talking about. Thank you. You're welcome. No, donate in the chat. No, I'm kidding. Jokes. I'm running low on water. This is a bop. But yeah. Actually, singing really helps with voice acting, for sure. You just get used to, like, the different places that your voice resonates. And breathing techniques. I've heard X in Chinese can be pronounced both Z and S. I see. That makes sense. But yeah. Like, what's some other anime I like? Or just some anime discussion topics? I'm trying to think. What are, like, your guys' like, favorite anime and why? No. Here's a better question. What's, like, an anime you like that you feel like people don't really like? Or maybe there's, like, controversy surrounding if people think it's good or not. Totally, I sing a lot of metal songs and I can do crazy metal screeches. Dude, I wish I could do that. But I don't want to ruin my voice. Because I already did that. I'm also a soprano. So I can sing really high. I think Demon Slayer is better than Jujutsu Kaisen. Really? I mean, I like both. But I'm really curious to hear why you think that's the case. I will say Demon Slayer is maybe a little more optimistic of a story. So I like that about it. And even though Jujutsu Kaisen is, like, less optimistic, I like it. Bro's typing. He's about to come up with a whole argument for this. I respect that. I think, like, yeah. I mean, Demon Slayer's pretty good. Maybe the one issue I have with it sometimes is like... Well, I think I watched this video recently that actually kind of opened my eyes to this, and I was like, yeah, I agree with that statement. Zenitsu is a really interesting character. I think sometimes he's a bit much. And this person was arguing that Stark from Frieren is a better example of how to write a somewhat, like, cowardly character that's actually strong. And I agree. Because the thing about Stark is he admits that he's, like, afraid of things. Even though he's a pretty good fighter. But he never really lets that get in the way too much of him helping people or protecting people or facing his fears. In fact, in Frieren, there's kind of this theme of, for some of the characters, of just saying that, like, fighting and facing your fears, even though you're afraid, is actually, like, a very brave thing to do, which I agree with that statement. Let's see. Affable sweetness. JoJo. It genuinely has a great story and great characters, but many people just see it as the funny meme anime. That's honestly true from what I had watched so far. I need to keep watching it. Pyro says, so what did I miss? We're having anime discussions. I'm waiting for Pancakes to tell me why he thinks Demon Slayer is better than Jujutsu Kaisen. Because I think that's just an interesting take. But yeah. I will say, Ufotable animation pops off, like, pretty well. I think it's very fluid, and some people are like, oh, it's just the saturation. I'm like, yeah, but that's, like, kind of cool. Like, I like when studios make a very distinct thing about their art style. Like, Jujutsu Kaisen is obviously going for more, like, of a bit of a, like, realistic, sort of grounded look. But I feel like Ufotable goes for maybe realistic in, like, surroundings or settings. But I think they do go more for, like, colorful and vibrant in all their anime. Haven't seen both of them. Are they both good? Yeah, they're both good. Both really good. I just watched season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen recently. It was great! Let's see. Demon Slayer is easier to follow in my opinion. It's also the classic good versus bad. And I also like villains who are unapologetically evil and unforgivable. In JJK, you question what and who you fight for. Okay. Yeah, like I said, like, I think some anime opinions, if it's, like, a good anime, just comes down to what you value in a story. I will say, yeah, in JJK, I think initially this was my dilemma, but after season 2 I was like, okay, it's a little more interesting. I didn't initially like that every single character in JJK was, like, morally gray, except for Yuji. And now it's, like, a little bit of the reverse to an extent. But yeah, I see where you're coming from. And I think, yeah, those just, like, good versus evil stories, like, sometimes those always make the most interesting stories, like Lord of the Rings. That's very much a good versus evil story. It's a good story. Motorweave says, what did I miss? We're talking about Pancake's opinion that, Demon Slayer is better than Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, I think that, again, I also think Demon Slayer, even though it's pretty dark sometimes, it's just, like, uplifting a lot. Like, it's just kind of hopeful. And I think that's something I value in stories, too. Water. Yeah. I'm gonna rest my voice for a second. You guys debate in the comments. There is no comments, right? Did you find it? I lost my voice. Did you find it? Let's see. Pancake says, I still really like Jujutsu Kaisen though. I like that the heroes are unquestionably loyal and don't really harbor ulterior motives. They all unite for the same fight. Okay, that's true. Anything can happen JJK, but it's still fun. Yeah. I mean, definitely the second season is like way more intense, but yeah, I think that's true. Hello. Hello, welcome to the stream. I just think that, like, my thing is, you can have, like, darker themes in stories, but I would like, for me personally, when I write stories where people can come away from them kind of having just, like, a positive message or thing to aspire to. But that's just me. We're gonna change this music. There we go. But yeah. I think, like, Berserk is a good example of it. Okay, yeah. Like, now again, Berserk's not... This is gonna be something I'm just gonna say because, again, this is just sort of something I realized about anime. Like, I don't think Berserk is for everyone. Even for me, honestly, like, yeah, I read it with Juan, but Juan knows this about me. Like, he'll tell me when something pretty intense is coming up. Because, like, I just... Sometimes it gets really intense and really dark. But yeah, I think in the sense that Guts is a compassionate character and keeps pushing forward, it's a pretty good story. Vinland Saga is kind of also like that. I think creating a story with... It's such a simple concept, but I just usually don't see a lot of stories that share this concept of just the mission statement of that story of, like, I have no enemies is, like, so interesting. But I think it's kind of true. Because it doesn't mean in the sense that people don't want to hurt you, I guess, but more in the sense of, like, people are people, and they all go through their own experiences and things and, like, points in life that lead to the decisions they make. And to just sort of choose, like, pacifism and to not give in to, like, the hatred of the world that other people want you to live by, and, like, revenge. I think that's just super interesting. Let's see. I didn't really care for the first season, and almost lost interest. But the second season had me gripped. I'm also excited for more content. Characters could have secret goals and deceive others. For Vinland Saga? Yeah. I think I like the first season, but I still need to finish the second. Alex Lee does a super good job of voice acting in it. My favorite manga is Good Night. Pun? It's probably pronounced Pum, but I just said that wrong. What's it about? Should I read Berserk? My friends talk big about it, and I've seen online how people say how good it is. The only problem is is money, and I can need to be careful how I spend it. Valid. Well, first off, I guess it depends how old. This is my opinion. I'm gonna be completely honest. Maybe it's just like the music teacher in me saying this. Like, I watched like Attack on Titan when I was like 17. And even then, initially, it was like a little hard to watch for me. Just because of how violent and intense it was. I'd say don't read Berserk until you're like 18. That's just my opinion. It's super good, but yeah, just very intense. Also, don't read Berserk if you're really susceptible to just getting depressed really easily. But yeah, it's good. Should read it. Oh yeah, Berserk. This might be my hot take, but I think it's a 5 out of 10 for me. When it's well written, it's really well written, but also has some really deep woes in my opinion. I guess I could see that with like certain arcs. I think it's pretty good, but yeah, it's not. Again, it's not for everyone, and I think that's fair. I was talking about Jujutsu Kaisen in my previous comment. Oh, that you're excited for the rest of Jujutsu Kaisen? Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Motor Weeb says, well, I'm gonna go now. Bye. Okay. Bye. It's basically a dark and gritty coming of age story. Yeah. Literally. Don't read, got it? I'm just being honest, dude. Like, you know, as a music teacher, like, I'm not gonna lie. There are some kids now who I feel like I've, like, known that are just, like, watching or consuming media where I'm like, that is, like, way too... that is not for your age group. Like, you know. Definitely when you're, like, 10, yeah, play Minecraft, but, you know, don't watch Game of Thrones. Maybe that's just my opinion. But yeah. Have you heard of Link Click? I don't think I have. What's it about? This is just me asking at this point, like, what certain animes are about. But yeah. I think usually the dark of stories has to be balanced for me. That's why I like Fate. Because Fate is ultimately, like... I would say ultimately it's hopeful. And ultimately you kind of come away from it sort of learning things or thinking about things. But I would say it's not a, like, completely hopeless story. That's what I like about it. I also just like that Artori is, like, a super moral character. It's technically not an anime, but actually, I don't know how to pronounce this, I'm sorry, Donghua Chinese animation. It's super good and focuses on time travel through a unique way. That sounds interesting. If I become a parent, I will make sure they only watch age-appropriate stuff, along with really good stuff. Like Magic Knight Rayearth. Bro's the biggest Magic Knight Rayearth advocate. Honestly, yeah, like, same with me. Like, me and Juan have talked about, like, yeah, we're voice actors. We love anime. We're probably gonna introduce anime to our kids. But just at the right age. Like, even something like Jujutsu Kaisen, like, I'm just like, let's wait till they're, like, 17 or 16 to watch Jujutsu Kaisen. I think if there was, like, any anime to, like, start, like, our kids off with someday, I'd definitely say, like, Violet Evergarden, maybe Dragon Ball Z Kai, Cells at Work. I'm trying to think of, like, what else. Yeah, and again, we're talking about, like, I'd probably start that off at, like, 13 years old. Not, like, I would not, because even those are, like, they're not, like, super violent, but they're still a little violent. So, yeah, I think, like, 13 would be the best age to introduce, like, some of the, like, better animes. But, yeah. To be honest, Full Metal Alchemist wasn't something that clicked on me. It was a good show with a good story, but it just didn't hang on me. I think that's fair. I thought it was a really good show, but is it in my top, like, 30? It might be. It was pretty good, but yeah. Sailor Moon would be a good place to start kids with. Oh, that's true. I actually haven't watched, like, a whole lot of Sailor Moon. I don't know if I watched any Sailor Moon, actually. No, I think I've watched, like, one episode, but yeah. Link Click focuses on using pictures to go through time and people's experiences. The second season is more thriller-based, focusing on the main story, while the first season is more arc-by-arc based. Not sure if I explained it well, haha. No, that sounds cool. I'll check it out. Yeah. I think another one maybe, but this would maybe be more like 15, probably, when I introduce this anime. Erased. That's a good one, with a good story, and kind of a good message. But yeah, it's pretty intense, I feel like. But yeah. I think it's hard sometimes because in America, like, I think people for so long kind of pushed the idea that animation is only for kids after, like, a certain point in time. And now, because of that, like, certain families are like, oh yeah, well, this thing's animated, so it's fine if my 9-year-old watches Jujutsu Kaisen. And I'm like, that's why you should probably watch the content before you just let your child watch whatever they want. In general, okay, this is now coming from my opinion as a music teacher. And this is a lesson I'm going to teach to all of you future people who want to have kids someday or maybe want to have kids. Don't just let your kids, like, do or watch whatever they want. Like, look, I understand the desire to be like, well, my parents were super strict when I was growing up, so I'm not going to be super strict. I think that's fair. But I think there's still an aspect of, like, that comes into, like, how human beings should, like, mentally develop and function, where if you introduce them to certain things, like, way too early in life, it's just ultimately not going to be mentally healthy for them. Especially things that are, like, violent, because then they're going to be, like, desensitized to that violence or to things like feeling compassionate for people as they continue to grow and whatnot. And ultimately, they themselves will like look back on that sometimes and be like, yeah, I kind of wish like I hadn't watched this thing or consumed this media or this story when I was like at such a young age. That's just my opinion. But I really just wanted to like put that out there because I'm like, I think it's important. But yeah. I wonder if you show enough kids anime and sub that they'll learn Japanese just from watching. Maybe. Am I awake because of this stream, or is this stream because I'm awake? Right? One of the many questions in life. Why is there echo? Oh, there's echo? Did I not mute the stream? Or it might just be the echo from my room. Or when I mean mute the stream, I mean the one that's like, where I'm actually like streaming through. It's probably my room. Parenting tips from Noelle. Yeah, despite not being a parent, this is more just like teaching tips. Because I think sometimes, again, I just get some students where they just seem like they've been exposed to media that's like way too intense for like the age range that they're in. Even when I was in tutoring, even just apart from the fact that some things might be like too violent or too gory or too intense, I think certain entertainment also, when you introduce it at such a young age, can reduce a little bit like just things like attention span and discipline sometimes. And completing certain tasks that maybe you don't necessarily want to do, but having the discipline to like complete those tasks is like pretty important and pretty fundamental to just like growing up. It's like watching Family Guy around 5-year-olds. They're definitely getting restricted internet access. I wasn't even allowed a phone until I was 16. Right? Like, I talked about this with my sister, and I was like, phones just aren't, like, how they used to be. Like, when you were younger, you get a phone, you have, like, well, you don't even get a phone when you're younger, but maybe sometimes you're, like, 12 or 11, and your parents are like, here's, like, a Samsung flip phone with, like, Tetris and 5 songs you downloaded on it. Like, it's definitely not the same how it is now. But yeah. A lot of parents love giving their kids a phone or an iPad without any oversight. Cocomelon and kids' YouTube seems so harmful. Yeah, it's just constant entertainment. And I just don't think that's, like, I don't know if that's particularly, like, the best for kids. I used to be upset I wasn't like the other kids who could do whatever they wanted, but now I'm super thankful for my parents' guide. No, right? That's like the... yeah. I think everyone realizes that when they get older. I thought this was anime discussion. Yeah, sorry. I got on my soapbox for a second, a little bit, as a music teacher. But yeah, I think parents need to set a healthy balance. They shouldn't be carefree, but they also shouldn't be too strict. Yeah. If I get kids, I'll have them play through generational consoles, starting off with the N64 and eventually the GameCube. So, glad my dad raised me on those. That's awesome. I think I had, like, Wii when I was little. We played, like, all the Lego games and, like, Wii Sports Resort and Wii Sports. But, yeah. Man, Wii was, like, so much fun. Alright. I think that's gonna be it for the stream today, though, everyone. But, yeah. Thanks for watching the anime discussion stream. We kind of got, like, a little off track there towards the end. But yeah. Thanks everyone for watching the stream. Lego Star Wars was peak. Yeah, right? Alright. I hope you all have a good day. Have a good week. Have a good year. Yeah, feel free to check out just some of my other videos. I make like meme content and voice acting content. Voice acting meme content because I'm a voice actress. Definitely hoping to do more comic dubs too in the future. Just to kind of give you guys more of a taste of like, I guess my capabilities as a voice actress in like serious things. But I will still continue to make this channel silly and fun and lighthearted. But yeah. Have a great day, Noelle. Thank you. Let's see. You. Into perfect human. About Wii Sports? I'm confused. Thanks and see you. Yeah. Alright then. Bye, Noelle. Have a good day. Good night. Good night. I assume Pancake said something that's goodbye in another language. But thank you. Alright. Bye, everyone.